medicinal treasures of the wildwood. Today, we're going to take a look at the Staghorn Sumac. A variety of sumac restricted relatively to the eastern side of North America. It runs up about as far as Newfoundland and down a bit into New England and just a little ways west. And that's unfortunate for those who are further west, because this, in my opinion, is one of nature's most wonderful treats. The Staghorn Sumac has sometimes been called northern lemonade. I personally don't find it to be all that citrusy, but I do find it to be very pleasantly fruity. I know many persons who have tried it who tell me they really do taste the citrus in it. So I think it's one of those things like being able to sniff the scent of certain chemicals, where it's really a genetic trait, whether or not you can detect it. For me, I find the Staghorn Sumac to be very pleasant, and I personally don't require it to have a citrusy taste to enjoy it. I don't taste that citrus, but I do taste a very lovely fruitiness. The Staghorn Sumac is a small to medium tree. The one I am before stands a mere 10 feet tall, and I've seen them approaching 20 feet tall, but that's about it. The wood is very fragile on a Staghorn Sumac, and unfortunately, the staghorns only grow at the top of the trees. So you must be very careful when harvesting staghorns so as not to damage the trees. It takes the trees several years to establish. They are quite vigorous, but if you break off the tops, it could wear them down and eventually kill them. At the very least, it will take them quite some time to reestablish. There are a number of different varieties of sumac around North America. It is important to be sure to harvest the Staghorn Sumac, as some of the others are fairly toxic. The Staghorn Sumac, however, is easily distinguished. It has the distinctive sumac leaves, and most notably, it has the staghorn. None of the other sumacs really have a horn like this. The staghorns themselves are comprised of numerous small berries. The berries are hard, tough, perhaps made with cellulose, I'm not quite certain. They are covered with a natural chemical that the Staghorn Sumac produces, and that's what gives them their fruity flavor. There are hundreds or even thousands of berries in a single staghorn. Typically, it is rare to find a single Staghorn Sumac tree growing. You will usually find them growing in a tight cluster together. This is because the Staghorn Sumac tree clones via its root system. The roots spread, and new staghorn growth spreads out from there. I wouldn't exactly call the Staghorn Sumac aggressive. It's not like it vigorously takes over areas, and it can easily be outcompeted. It is a small, delicate tree which prefers hedges and the edges of woods. It also easily breaks in heavy wind. However, the tree is vigorous enough to fend for itself and find many places to establish. Once established, it is hardy and does pretty well withstanding drought, hot weather, and extreme cold temperatures, all the variety that one can find in a northeastern year. Staghorns grow as small green shafts that lengthen out, broaden, develop their berries, and slowly redden. They weigh several ounces apiece, and it is easy to harvest a great many. Daphne and I will often go out in a mere 2-hour span, gather enough staghorns to last us the entire year. When you harvest the staghorns, they must be set out to dry for a while, otherwise they will quickly rot. However, drying them is quite easy. Just put them outdoors on a table on a clear, warm day when the air is nice and dry, and over a matter of 3 or 4 days they will dry adequately. Making sumacade is easy. However, because the staghorns are a natural product comprised of thousands of berries with many little nooks and crannies and hidey holes for insects, if you're going to use the staghorns fresh, it's best to set them out someplace dry and in the sunlight for a few hours so that insects can have an opportunity to evacuate the horns. Once harvested, insects will quickly evacuate the horns. After a few hours, just take the staghorn and put it in a gallon jar full of water. The water should be no more than tepid. You do not want to boil the water. Hot water will destroy the delicate flavoids of the staghorn. Set the water with the staghorn in a place of direct sunlight for several hours to a full day. Over this period of time, the warmth of bright sunlight will work to extract the wonderful flavors of the staghorn. The water will become a dark reddish color as the staghorn seeps. After a day, at most, you can remove the staghorn. Then strain the water in case any small bits of the berries broke loose of the staghorn while it was steeping. Add sugar or honey to taste, cool, and drink. It is really a wonderful beverage. Let's go home, boy.